The Phantasmic Journey Podcast is brought to you by Tascam and Amazon Studios. For more than 30 years, Tascam has developed products for every segment of the sound and music industry. From the high-end audio professional in a major post-production studio to the novice of hobbyist at home, Tascam is everywhere. They are a company committed to providing their customers audio and video solutions that enable breakthroughs by using sound in ways that are exciting as they are accessible, even recording the voices of the dead. You asked for a non-scripted paranormal TV show. You begged for a non-staged paranormal TV show. You begged and you pleaded, and we have listened. We present to you Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. It was released October 31st, 2017. In this series, we show you what it's like behind the scenes and conducting a real paranormal investigation. Join Gavin Kelly, Paul Purcell, and their special guests to seek out the existence of life after death by going to numerous haunted locations such as jails, hospitals, battlefields, and museums, collecting compelling evidence by means of video, photography, and EVPs. In this season, the crew investigates the St. Albans Sanatorium, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Jailhouse Pizza, and the famed Monroe House. And you can watch Season 1 of The Paranormal Journey into the Unknown on Amazon.com right now. Season 2 and 3 will be coming soon. Your journey begins now. As you follow the path and both the known and unknown, what do we understand? What answers are we trying to achieve? Are there answers? Tonight, we gather to find more verity. Join us as we take the journey into the unknown. This is the Phantasmic Journey Podcast with your hosts, Gavin Kelly and Paula Purcell.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Phantasmic Journey Podcast. We are coming to you live from the PGH Studios. Syndication is brought to you in part by WCGT Radio Live and Live 365. You can listen to the live broadcast via the Live 365 app for your Apple or Android phones. And if you want to use your PC, type in www.live365. Search for the WCGT Radio Live. Now on with the show. Lots of strange things going on in the paranormal realm these days. So what weird and wacky stories you got for us tonight, Paula?
Well, not so much weird and wacky on the paranormal part, but I have been serious every day. I have gotten to the habit of, I have a radio show I have to listen to every morning.
Oh, really? What's that?
That's got to be Bob and Steve.
Bob and Steve?
Yeah.
Who the heck's Bob and Steve?
They're on the radio show every morning. We listen to it.
Are they like Bob and Tom?
Kind of like Bob and Tom, but they're not as out there as
Bob and
Tom is.
Oh, I listen to Bomb and Tom. Yeah,
I kind of get their ideas and stuff, and then I build up on it,
okay.
And then I have started a daily thing on my page.
Okay.
And anyway, today I have posted. Do you have weird eating habits?
No. Just things I don't like to eat.
Just things. No, okay. How about weird eating combinations?
Example?
Some people likes to put ketchup on their eggs.
Gross. No. What about eating one thing at a time?
Well, the reason why we got it started is because Trump went and had sushi ordered for him.
Sushi's sick.
I love sushi.
It's gross. You remember last night when we were watching, what the heck were we watching? Good Omens or Good and Omen or something like that?
Good Omens, yeah.
Yeah, the dude had the sushi. He's an angel. He can't eat sushi. Thank God. No. Nasty.
Well, anyway, Trump got sushi, and he put ketchup on it. Or he dipped it in ketchup.
I probably would do it too because you want it to taste better.
So, I mean, I've heard the expression that ketchup makes you, people taste, covers up the taste or whatever.
Yep.
Me, I'm not a big ketchup fan.
No, you're a mustard fan.
Well, I am for our hot dogs. Mustards and relish is my thing.
Mustard looks like baby poop. Just saying.
But I have done a survey, and if anybody who is not friends with me on Facebook and wants to become friends with me on Facebook just to see some of my silly stories that I post every day, I started doing this past couple of weeks.
They're silly.
And so I'm taking that information and I'm plugging it in and advancing it more.
Dwelling upon it more?
Yeah, Steve. I'm friends with Steve on the radio station. Me and him talk on occasion, so it's interesting.
Geez.
So he loves my idea. He loves my idea of taking his idea and stretching it for the community. He loves it.
Oh, I figured you were giving them ideas.
No, we kind of talk back and forth on certain things, but anyway.
Okay.
But today was the question for strange mixtures of food. And here's what I've gotten so far today. Baked potatoes with cottage cheese, ranch dressing, and butter.
I think I just threw up in my mouth.
Ketchup on eggs, I already told you. I mix buffalo sauce in my mac and cheese.
Ew.
French fries and ranch dressing.
Hey, I know someone who puts hot sauce on their salad.
Well, that's one of your coworkers, isn't it?
We won't say his name, Chris.
We have rolls and ketchup.
Actually, it's not hot sauce. He puts chipotle. He puts chipotle on a salad. Yeah, that's what it was.
He just don't like lettuce.
I don't know. He's like, dude, you want a salad? I said, not with that.
And the last one I had gotten commented so far, because I put this up this morning, I've been letting it run all day. The last one I've gotten was pickles and peanut butter sandwiches.
Oh, God. That's just sick.
Yeah.
Ew.
So that's your weird tasting of combinations. If you have some, then send me a response to that or nothing else, friend me on Facebook and comment on it. I'm keeping that thing up and letting it run for a few days just to see what everybody will post.
Oh, God.
Next, how many have watched The Shining? Stephen King's The Shining.
Me. But that was like many moons. It was many moons.
Well, I have learned that Danny Lloyd, who happens to be the little boy on the tricycle in that famous long hallway.
Oh, jeez. Yes.
On the radio this morning, about Danny Lloyd. Well, come to find out, after he had done The Shining, he did one other little teeny tiny TV movie. After that, he had quit acting. He finished school and he went on to greater things in teaching.
Did he get traumatized during the filming of The Shining, or what?
I don't know.
I would be traumatized seeing those two girls all the time on set.
He became a biology professor.
Oh, wow.
At a college in Kentucky.
Oh, wow. We can go see the Shining kid. Hey, what's up, Big Wheels?
If anyone would like to take one of his classes, he teaches biology in Elizabethtown at the community college.
Wow.
And he's one of those, he's only had, like, my understanding of what I've heard, he's only had, like, a handful of people that recognize who he is or know about his past.
How are you going to be able to recognize him? He was a kid. He ain't going to look anything like he did when he was a kid.
I don't know, but he's had a couple
Unless the name.
He doesn't like to bring it up that he had played in The Shining, but if some student asked him in class about the days that he had filmed when he was a child as The Shining, he would talk a little bit about his whole part of being in part of the movie and all that stuff, and how he ended up, they threw us out thousands of calls for a kid to play on a tricycle.
Big wheel.
Or a big wheel, or whatever you call it. But anyway, we've had that, and so if anybody wants to go in on that's something that's interesting. I don't know if I could ever get someone like that to be interested in coming onto our podcast, but it'd be interesting to have a
star from The Shining.
Yeah.
Why don't we just get Jack Nicholson? No. Think we could get Jack Nicholson?
But I doubt that. Oh, you want to do a reminder on the...
You can.
Okay.
Bring it up.
Yeah, we have tickets, a small hand of tickets that are available. We are having an investigation June the 29th with Jack Hanna is the main person for the whole event at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Pittsburgh, Tennessee. And it's $85. They do have a handful of tickets left, is my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
It's in. You can go to eventbrite.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it should have. It's a private investigation of OSPHPRC with Jack Hanna. We're gonna be there.
JB Colt's going to be there.
JB Colts is going to be there.
TJ Justice is going to be there.
And it's going to be a fun-filled night. I've not seen the old girl in about, 3-4 years?
Yeah, we're going to be there with our camera crew.
So
we're going to do some filming there.
So if you've not gotten your tickets and you would like to come, they have got a handful left. If you want to message me or message Gavin, we can
or
send
TJ Justice.
Or TJ Justice. They can we can send you a link for you to get those tickets ordered. You can get them in soon. Like I said, that is in not this weekend, but the following weekend. So
yep. South Pittsburgh, Tennessee.
So another question, and this is an open-ended question, and I would love to have responses on this. I've not gotten very few responses because I threw it out there. This is not something I got from a radio show or anything. I'm just curious, in every town you have that Addams or Monster family house. Now, I know cities are tearing places down right and left.
Constantly.
Did you ever have a house that creeped you out when you saw it? I mean, it necessarily doesn't have to be haunted, but it's just the fear factor of seeing this house. It kind of reminds me of several different houses. It could be like a creepy house like the Addams family, or a creepy house like the Monsters. God, did you ever picture people living next door to the Monsters? Whew.
I can't say I have.
And the one that stands out, and this is an old movie, and my mind just went a total blank just then. It's a Christmas movie.
Huh?
It's a Christmas movie.
What about the Christmas movie?
Oh, you are...
The Christmas Story?
It's not the Christmas Story, not about the boy with the rider, but the one about the angel gets his wings. Every time a bell rings, the angel gets his wings.
Miracle on 42nd Street?
No.
47th Street?
No.
It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah, Wonderful Life.
What the hell are you about to say? Barefoot?
No. I'm having a moment.
You are.
It's a Wonderful Life. You remember they had talked about the old house and it looked creepy and everything, and then George went in there and bought the house and they remodeled it and went in debt and they fixed the house up and made it look pretty again. Nope. But everybody was afraid to walk by that house.
Nope. The only house I ever remember like that is from the Money Pit.
Oh, the Money Pit was awesome. The tub went through the floor. And the turkey was done. That was the best part of that whole movie.
No, that's when the fire started in the kitchen.
Yeah, and it blew the turkey out.
It did.
And the turkey landed in the pot in the bathtub, in the bathroom.
Bing! Turkey's done. Yeah.
That part and the part where the tub went through the floor. That was the best part of all of it.
Oh, God, that was hilarious. No.
That's actually them.
No, it's not. Is it?
Yes.
That is actually the two girls from The Shining?
Yes.
Ooh. And you... No. Mm-mm.
Can you picture if you ever went to grocery shopping at 3 a.m. in the morning
and they're standing
and you
there?
Ran into the girls from The Shining?
No, thank you. Nope.
That's your thought for the night.
Alrighty. Well, we do have a special guest tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and let you know a few things about her. Our special guest stood nervously in front of 100-plus people at Scarefest and was amazed. She was utterly surprised that all these people wanted to listen to her. She was very popular with her Q&A, quite informative. She is a psychic medium, the star of the travel channel Dead Files, Together with a retired police detective, Steve Duchesne, she tours predominantly residential houses, helping occupants understand the possible paranormal events occurring. The show is very popular. Amy Allan comes from a lineage of psychics. Though Amy admits to difficult teen years, she eventually embraced her gifts and studied with Dr. William Roll. Early in her career, she is apprenticed with Dr. Roll in the Haunting of Georgia case. Initially approached in 2003, Amy declined an offer for the TV show because of contractual obligations with CBS. However, things changed in 2007, and Amy agreed to join the show. But on her terms, Amy now works within a scientific background and demands certain methodology to ensure that the cases are not compromised. She is adamant that the rules be followed so that the results in the data are not faulty, basically to preserve integrity. I'm talking about the Dead Files star, Amy Allan. How are you doing this evening, Amy?
Good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great. I got a question. Good. It says sleep and sleep disorders. What do you mean by that?
Basically looking into sleep disturbances, things that create disorders, which is not being able to get or maintain a regular sleep cycle, so say 6 to 8 hours per night. Okay. So obviously if you're not doing that, you're suffering from possibly night terrors, nightmares,
sleep paralysis.
Well, sleep paralysis does come into play in various sleep disorder situations. And we also looked at, sleep apnea and insomnia issues, things like that.
Okay, I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I've noticed and is truly amazing, we've watched your show numerous times, and I'm just totally amazed how you are able to draw what you are seeing at a location. Did that gift come to you naturally, or?
Oh, I don't draw it. I have typically a sketch artist draws it.
Oh, okay. But you actually do see what the entity is.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, that just totally blows my mind. I'm just totally in awe how that actually works. I mean, is that something that you're born with or something that you kind of learn throughout the years?
Well, I have always, really since my earliest memories, I've had encounters with entities or the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Going even before my memories, my parents have stories of when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember anything, prior to the age of 4.
I gotcha.
So they kind of have some stories previous to my earliest memory of the shadow people at age 4. So I've always had it. It's always been a part of me.
The shadow people, were they friendly or were they malevolent?
They were malevolent. They, initially presented as friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I quickly found out that they were not to be trusted. And they tried to get me to kind of be with them, which was essentially their motive.
You are listening to the Phantasmic Journey Podcast, and we will be right back after these moments.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How would you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit tunein2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
You just need feedthepig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
They never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to the Phantasmic Journey Podcast. I'm your host, Gavin Kelly, and my lovely co-host is Paula Kelly. Now on with the show.
And befriending me by getting me to bite the electrical cord to my humidifier. And
wow.
I did get electrocuted. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, they did not act friendly towards me. And I knew not to trust them.
Huh. It sounds like when little kids have an imaginary friend and they tell them to go ahead and do evil things.
Well, fortunately, they never told me to do anything evil.
Well, I mean, they made you bite a cord, so they're like, hey, why don't you go ahead and bite that cord? It's like licorice.
Myself.
It's white licorice, really. It is. You'll enjoy it. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, we always ask all of our guests this standard question, and basically, we kind of covered some of it, but what primarily got you into the paranormal? Was it because of the shadow people? That incident happened, and next thing you know, you wanted to learn more about it?
No, not really. I honestly, I just continued having experiences, and I didn't fully grasp that other children were not having these types of experiences.
Okay.
So on several occasions, I saw that, by their reactions to phenomena happening around me, that other children were not having these experiences. And then I just really wanted to be normal.
Right.
And wanted to understand what the hell was going on with me. So I did, I started talking to people about any kind of experiences they had or didn't have, and I started seeking out literature that covered those kinds of situations. Nothing ever really resonated, and until I really was older in my teen years. I had many validating experiences prior to that, but didn't really want to deal with it. I really tried to be normal. And once I had this kind of epiphany when I was around 18, I decided that I better really figure out what the hell was going on, and really, really fully immerse myself into the world of the paranormal.
Gotcha. Paula has a question here for you.
Have you encountered any dead family pets as well as a cow?
I did encounter a dead cow. My family pet?
Well, she's trying to get at the fact that you've actually encountered a cow.
Yes, I did.
We're kind of curious on that one. I mean, we've actually had previous radio shows, and we were talking to Doogie, and all of a sudden we had a ghost chicken that decides to cluck on the radio show. He didn't hear it, but all of our listeners heard it. So, but we got to talk about a ghost cow. This is going to be interesting.
It was during one of my walks, and there were several deceased farm animals that were there. And one in particular happened to be a cow, and they were just doing their daily routine. They didn't know or gather that anything had really changed. So, and they were able to interact with me. They acknowledged me, and so I thought that was pretty interesting at the time.
Okay, I gotta ask, how did they acknowledge you?
Oh God. My presence, that I was there.
Okay.
Just like, if your dog, when you walk up to a cow and they kind of push back and then kind of come forward and, Yeah. Normal cow behavior.
Well,
I know I know this is a bad question to ask after all that. Did it moo at you?
No, it did not. It did not. I didn't get a moo-moo.
We investigated a slaughterhouse, and there is a ghost cow, and he will moo at you.
Yes.
Aww. Poor baby.
Oh,
Poor
my
baby.
gosh. Yeah, I haven't really, quote-unquote, been close to a cow, except maybe once. We were on Paula's friend's farm, and I kind of got scared because they were bigger than me.
Well,
Oh, yeah, I mean, the head was about the size of my torso, and it's like looking at me, and I'm going, oh, God, he's thinking I'm lunch.
Oh, my God.
Well, you also got to realize...
So sweet.
We gotta realize Gavin here is a California boy. I'm a Kentucky girl, so farm is a part of life around here.
Not for us.
Right.
Well, personally not for us, but I have a lot of family, and yes, I gave him some cow experience, including feeding some baby calves with the bottle.
It was a catastrophe. It really was.
Aww.
It was totally crazy.
They're adorable.
Not if it's bigger than me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God! I mean,
I guess are you afraid of horses too? And
let me tell you a story about a horse. I never rode a horse in my life, and I got on a horse by myself with Paula's daughter on another horse. And she's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and take you into the wilderness, and we'll be right back.
Oh, my.
We got lost for 2 hours, and I couldn't walk straight.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Yeah. I'm not terrified of them. I just don't want to ride one.
Okay.
I mean...
A little bit of PTSD there, yeah.
Well, I mean, I wound up walking bow-legged for about a week.
Yeah. It does take some getting used to, for sure.
Well, the sad thing is Amber's horse was Molly, and she likes to run. Well, I'm on a horse named Doc, and he wants to gallop.
Well, the horse that you were on was not really a trail horse. It's a wagon pulling horse.
Yeah, I was on a wagon pulling horse.
He was kind of on a sway back horse, riding a sway back horse.
Yeah, but then he gallops. And then he gallops. And I didn't like that part. One thing I wanted to go ahead and say, the reason why I was talking about the sketches, because I'm looking at a biography here, and it says the sketches take 3 to 4 hours to create, and the longest one usually taking 9 hours. That's why I was kind of wondering about that.
Yeah. Back in the day, I would simply sit down with the sketch artist and give descriptions, and it would take hours and hours and hours for them to get it right. Or close enough to where I was like accepting of it.
Right.
And but recently, or fairly recently, a couple of years now, I finally was like, oh, I should do pre-sketches. And that has now saved quite a lot of time. So I'm able to show them kind of the idea of, here's the person I saw, or here's the situation I encountered. So it does save a lot of time.
Okay, so it's like a pre-visualization.
Yeah, I'm okay at drawing. I used to draw quite a lot as a child and early teen. So I can get it fairly close.
I used to draw, and it kind of faded away as I got older. Now, you draw, don't you draw?
And when I have time.
That's something that we don't have.
I mean, I draw for my preschoolers, and they think it's all cool and awesome. And then, of course, my teachers find out I can draw this, that, and the other, and I get all the teachers in my hey, can you draw a frog for me? I need to put a frog on my bulletin board. I'm like, sure, why not?
I can do stick figures.
Hey, it's something.
Right? But gosh, speaking of traveling, you travel 26 days a month, 8 months a year? Or 26 days a month, 8 months a year?
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of traveling, a lot of being away from home.
It is. And, and there's more in there, too, as far as conventions and, now I'm doing workshops again. So I'm a lot. Traveling a lot.
Oh, wow.
I'm currently in a post-travel hangover, so, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, tell us about your workshops. What goes on there?
Well, we're just launching the workshops again. Previous to the show, I used to guide workshops to help people learn how to protect themselves, how to open and close, and test them for different types of abilities to figure out which one was their dominant and then secondaries, and then how to best apply it in the field. So I'm doing that again.
I like the idea that you're able to do tests to see what abilities they have. Paula over here, she is, you're an empath and a sensitive or something like that?
Yes. Well, that's what I've been told.
That's what you've been told?
Yes.
Typically, sensitive is a general term for somebody who has abilities. And then an empath or psychic empath is an individual who, from emotions that they absorb, is able to put kind of stories together, either for the living or the deceased that they're doing a read of. They also typically lend to be healers.
Yeah, she's been having some weird experiences, was it lately?
Yeah, past couple of weeks.
I can't explain them, but she can talk to you about it.
Well, it's kind of hard. Well, I'm one of those, my mind stays too busy. I don't know if that is an appropriate term or not, but it seems like whenever I am in like a partial sleep or a complete sleep is when I start having the weird phenomenon, unexplained, strange, comprehended dreams. Including places I've never been to where it's a fine-tooth comb, to where there is a specific area. I'm in this room, never been to locations before, and there's something about this certain room that I'm supposed to... It's kind of like, you know, have you ever played the hidden games where you're supposed to find the hidden object in the room?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. And it's kind of like it's one of those deals that it's kind of like you have started the chapter, you're in this room, you're getting intensified with this room, and it's an actual haunted location. Now I go to research this location, come find out it exists, you know. And so it always anything drastically that's fixing to happen, I always get woken up or I wake myself up.
Okay.
And then she had one other thing that was kind of bizarre is she watched an episode with me of Ghost Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was filmed at the Thornhaven Manor. And we wound up meeting with Dalen at Scarefest, and she told him that she had a dream, and it had to do with a guy in overall with a screaming face. And Dalen just looked at her, eyes all wide, going, "Yeah, that I've heard about that."
Yeah, he said that was a story that was behind the story because the show that he was, you know, the Ghost Brothers, the producers or whatever, wanted him to exaggerate on that one particular story. But there is a backstory that I never knew anything about. The first time I ever heard of the location was on Ghost Brothers, and I just happened to fell asleep. You know, I went to sleep that night, and I dreamt about the location, and I dreamt about something that happened prior to the story that's being told about the location. And I started doing research, and I started talking to a couple other people that are some of my psychic intuitive friends, and they tell me that it seems like the location is calling to you for you to go visit. And that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a possibility. Also, just that you were able to kind of, in a sleep state, whether it be, via your guides or a kind of, visitation from the deceased there, et cetera, you gained the further information and knowledge that was applicable that was not shown. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not, hopefully it's not a pull to go there. You kind of don't really want that to be the case. Mm-hmm. So we'll just say on the positive side that you were able to receive the information, the full story regarding that location.
And I wanted to go there. Darn it.
Sometimes that can be a little dangerous when you get pulled to locations, so just, double up on protections if you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are different things similar to that where she dreamt it, but I actually had a weird experience, and I can't really I can explain it, but I really can't explain it, if you know what I mean. I basically woke up in my old house in California, and I was walking through the house, and it felt like I was really there. And for some weird reason, it was something that I was looking for, or my mom was looking for the longest time, and all of a sudden, I saw what she was looking for, and I told her exactly where it was, and then when I told her, I was like, Mom, I got something I need to tell you. This is kind of weird. You probably will think I'm nuts, but I somehow ended up home, walked through the house, and I found what you were looking for.
Wow.
That, I can't explain how that happened, but sure enough, I told her, and right where it was, she found it. She's like, I've been looking for this for 3 years.
So, yeah, in some respects, you more than likely were at the house, and you actually did, perceive the item, and you were then able to relay the message. So that's something that does happen to people where in a sleep state. In a sleep state, the thing is that our brains are actually, it's the only time our brains are completely active.
Oh.
100% active, yeah. And so, when we're awake, certain areas tend to function versus other areas, given the moment. But when we're in a sleep state, actually everything is fully functioning. So we're doing things and perceiving things that we normally wouldn't otherwise. And that means our capabilities are really endless because we don't really know what our brains can completely do. So I think, more than likely you had some type of, astral or out-of-body, experience where you went there and you did these things. And people will also report, and this is interesting, where people are haunting their former homes, and they'll be in a sleep state. They'll say they had a dream about the location, their former house. And then the interesting part is that I've done several cases where people are having hauntings, experiencing hauntings, and it is actually a living person who, for one reason or another, is having dreams about that location and in some form is actually manifesting there.
Oh, okay.
So it can get really interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, it just totally blew my mind, and I was just like I told my mom, and I go, you're going to think I'm nuts, but when I told her, she was just like, how did you do that? I had no idea.
Yeah, it's amazing what we're capable of doing.
I mean, like you just stated, the brain is completely full force running while we're sleeping, and you're able to do your astral projections and a bunch of other things. What about during that time? Would your third eye be open?
Well,
or is that when you're during your conscious?
Completely. That's a whole other discussion on if there really is a extra sensory, or if it's simply our five senses that are being completely open and active, and but that gets into a whole other area that's like a long discussion of breaking down that sensation perception. And then we get into physics and everything that happens. Yeah.
Well, I've been recently studying quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and quantum mechanics of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
great. Very good.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. So, let's see. I see that you're also you're working on 2 books, or you've already finished 2 books.
Oh boy. Well,
join the club. I'm writing one, and so is she. We haven't got very far.
Yeah. Well, we decided to go a different route with one of the books, and decided to turn it more into a documentary.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're going to be working on that. Just it's easier all around, and I'm more of a kind of tactile, visual person, and I want to bring that to people, not just in black and white. So we're going to be going back to all of the houses and locations where, I grew up and developed, and telling the story that way.
Okay.
So people can actually see it and, kind of have these experiences along with me.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the book that I'm actually doing is writing of all of our experiences while filming for the show, so people can actually read about everything that we go through, the hardships, the ups and downs, the fights, everything that you don't get to see. People can read about it.
Right. Which, and every location comes something new and different, because when you go to haunted locations, everybody becomes heightened into a heightened state of awareness, and people get agitated, and oh boy.
Oh yeah, or
I remember those days. I do.
Well, I mean, prime example, we went to the industrial slaughterhouse, the same place where the ghost cow was, and we had an investigator with us. We're really thinking she has gypsy blood, because everywhere we go, she comes with us, she gets attacked, she gets slapped, she gets punched, she gets scratched. Well, we were in the mechanics room, and 5-inch deep weld sockets were thrown at her.
Ooh.
Even a big piston smacked her in the back. I picked up the piston and go, holy cow, this got thrown at her.
Oh, gee.
So yeah, that's a bit kind of crazy. So, but
well, she was even attacked. Yeah, was attacked at Waverly.
Yeah, she was. She was attacked at Waverly, scratched down her shoulders, and then we went to Octagon Hall. Have you ever been there?
No.
Okay, well, inside the library, we were doing an EVP session, and I saw a scratch develop on her arm that went under her watch band and over the top of her hand. I'm just like, what? And she did not do any provoking whatsoever. All of a sudden, it just appeared, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. I know. Those situations are pretty damn interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I have to say. Yes.
All right, well, we're getting to the end of our time here, so now I'm going to let you have the floor. You can tell everybody where they can find you. I know you're at www.thehauntedlibrarian.com. That site's pretty neat. I've been there and stayed on there for a while searching.
Yay!
That's where I got most of my writing from.
Well, there's my Twitter, which is my favorite. And that's at Amy Allan, so AMYALLAN TDF. And my website, which is shit. What is it?
I don't know.
I told you I'm post-travel out of it. Let me see. I think it's just .net.
Okay.
So, yeah. Hopefully that works.
You need a vacation from your travels.
Yeah.
I sure do, but I'm about to leave in like 2 days, so.
Oh, wow.
Oh, jeez.
You need to find you a beach and get you some Mai Tais.
That's what girl, that's what I need, I tell you what. Soon, hopefully soon. I really appreciate you guys having me on. I'm sorry it was so short. It was cool hearing all your stories.
Oh, we appreciate you being on with us. Hopefully we can be able to come out to an event and see you. Cause I think, aren't you doing an expo or something with a whole bunch of people? Or is that already over with?
I'm doing the St. Saul, Michigan convention in August.
That's at the Michigan Paracon?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one that everybody's there. Amy Bruni's going to be there, Adam Berry,
Yeah.
Steve Gonslaves,
Yeah.
Tango, TWC, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, everybody comes out. We all have a good time. It's really fun.
Yeah,
and that place is hella active, so.
Yeah, they're actually inviting us for next year. We can't do it this year because we're filming for another show. And
oh, good.
We're actually going to be in Texas, I believe. Aren't we going to be in?
When is it?
It's in August, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where are we in August? No, we're
Wisconsin.
We're in Wisconsin. That's right.
Oh, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's where we'll be at.
We're gonna be at the top of this.
But it's all
state.
good, and congrats.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Well, once again, we do appreciate you being on the show. We love listening to your stories on how everything came about and how you got to where you are now, and things about the book turning into a documentary. So it's very informative for our listeners and everything. And now they know where they can find you. And
hopefully.
Hopefully, right?
Right.
I'll try the links on out, and then I'll put it on up.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. So I'm glad you guys got to sit with us and listen to our guest tonight, Amy Allan. One thing I'd like to say is Amy continues Q&A sessions by telling the crowd the importance for the living to release the dead, especially children. Amy educates the attendees. Dead Files incorporates skeptics with psychic mediums supported by research. The most important aspect is to isolate the medium from the researcher. This eliminates contamination. Despite internet gossip, Amy does use paranormal equipment. She would like to see it used more often in a more scientifically controlled environment. However, she encourages paranormal groups to do more with the tools. Incorporate them into longer research endeavors. The Phantasmic Journey Podcast. We are coming to you live from the PGH Studios. Syndication is brought to you in part by WCGT Radio Live and Live 365. You can listen to the broadcast via the Live 365 app for your Apple or Android phones and, of course, your PC. Go to www.live365 and search for WCGT Radio Live. Join us next week, Wednesday, June 26th. We are going to be joined by VidiSpace, Aaron Thompson from Ghost Criers. They will go ahead and talk about breaking frequencies, now seen on VidiSpace as well as Amazon Prime. Don't want to miss that show, I guarantee it.